Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching me today. My name is Peter. Welcome back to Invest with Peter. So today I'm going to be talking about what happened last week. How market react, how we went from there up until there, and how people are reacting. But well, it's another market review again. So please, if you see me for the first time, I'm Peter Ads. I bring this every Monday or probably every Tuesday. If I can make Monday, I make Tuesdays, right? So if you've just seen me, please kindly subscribe to the channel. I bring market updates, market review every week, just like this. All right, let's go straight into it, right? Guys, what happened last week? Tesla reported one of the best quarter in the history of this company, right? I was expecting Tesla to fly to at least $14 or $1,300, right? But guess what? Nah, it didn't happen. So why is market just reacting like that? People are expecting market to fly, to go this and that. Well, no, market is not having none of it. Market is not having none of it. So I think there's so many things happening around Feds and all this inflation, market raising, Fed raising rate and all that stuff. But well, let's talk about Netflix again. Netflix is not workable. Goodness me, I told my friend, I said, see, Netflix is not going to work out properly. Stop investing in Netflix. If you want to invest in Netflix, I told people, wait until you see something around 180. Mark my word, that's the only price point I'll be considering if I want to buy into Netflix. You buy Netflix now, it's like you buying into a bubble. Why? Netflix went up to 600 or something like that during the lockdown. We all know the reason why, right? Lockdown, people get stuck at home. They couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't watch their best game. They couldn't see families and friends. Guess what they're going to be doing? They're going to sit down at home and watch series of movies. Even people that don't watch movies, they will sit down. They will be forced. People were forced to watch movies. Subscription was just all over the place. Out of this world, but it was all over the place. So people were subscribing left and right. So their market revenue, went up just like that. So, Netflix were able to raise enough money and all that. So their quarters were just unbelievable. That is what happened when there's a lockdown or when there's something happening. I just pray nothing like lockdown happen again, because actually destroy people's lives, right? So this is the reason why Netflix flew like that last year and year before the last, right? So now markets, Netflix reported their earnings last week, and they said, well, over 200,000 people, left them unsubscribed to their channel because people need to go to work. People need to travel around the world. Did you see what happened to all these reopening places, reopening stocks? They went flying like that because people are sick and tired of sitting at home. People want to travel. People want to go on holidays. So people were like, well, I'm not going to be sitting at home watching movies anymore. I need to get to work. I need to start working. And people, offices start opening up. People start going back to work. Working from home is being reduced to a minimal, amount now. So people go to work to, from morning and come back in the evening. So guess what? Kids going back to school. So you don't expect the same revenue from Netflix, what they had last year and year before the last, to happen again. I knew they're going to drop drastically. That's why I got out of Netflix as soon as I can. So I was like, well, guys, don't buy Netflix at this point. To me, getting into Netflix would be a fair price, would be around 180, 190. That is it. Because Netflix is not this. See, this thing is, we're just in the beginning. Honestly, this is just the beginning for Netflix. And I think the system they're trying to bring now, they were like, okay, we're going to make people to, watch an advert so that you generate some revenue. Yeah, that might work. And they said they're going to be cracking down on people that share password. Guess what? How do you want to crack down on people that share password? If I have a Netflix account, right, and my wife is not living with me. She lives in probably 1,000 miles away, and I live probably in the West, and she lives in the North Hemisphere or something like that. Guess what? I'll give my wife the password. I'll say, well, baby, this is my password. You can watch it as well in my own name. So families share password, But I understand where they're coming from, that people like, sharing password, or like a whole neighborhood is using one password, or probably your neighbor, you gave the password to your neighbor, and your neighbor give to his neighbor, then his neighbor give it to the other neighbor. So that is the biggest threat Netflix is going to be having, and I'm still waiting on how they want to work that out, right? So, well, let's leave that for Netflix. So now Jerome Powell and Yellen, yeah, last week they were just, these people need to just keep quiet, right? Let market do what it does, all right? So, because we need to understand that rate is gonna be raised, we know this, right? But Jerome Powell was like, oh, because of what happened to Russia, between Russia and Ukraine. So they think, well, it's a game changer now. They need to go slowly. But now, the issue of Ukraine and Russia is not even affect consumer at all, because people are still buying stuff. People have saved money during the lockdown, and they are ready to go. They are actually happy to go out now and spend those money. So you don't expect people who've been saving money all these within 24 months, and now it's time for them to go on holiday. Now it's time to go to Maldives, time to go to Florida, to go to Hawaii and all that stuff. You expect them not to spend that money. They will be spending those money. So Fed was like, well, market is actually doing well. We might probably as well go aggressive at this point. Well, that's why market went down last week, because they want to go aggressively. And I think, if, like I always, I've been talking about Fed's, tampering issue and all that stuff. They need to go. I'm not saying they shouldn't go aggressively, but they need to be very careful, because if not, they will over tighten, and over tightening will send us to a recession, whether we like it or not. Over tightening will send us to recession. This is not the first time. It's happened before in the past. So what I'm saying is, Jerome Powell said, I think that at this point they will be going half base point, which is 50 basis point, right? And probably another 50 basis point. Bullard, James Bullard the other week said, yeah, he thinks 50 basis points is a fair number now, and it wouldn't be ruling out 75 basis points. So that's, market looking at in the Fed has been hawkish at this point. So I think, Feds are being hawkish. They're not being dovish anymore. It needs to happen. They want to slow the economy down to get the, inflation back to a minimal numbers. I understand this, right? But over tightening, like I said, will send economy to a recession. They need to understand this as well. Well, everybody's worried. Why is the market going down? This and that. I'm just sorry for new or young investors, who are just panicking and just selling everything at red and all that stuff. If you sell stuff at red, that means you're locking in your losses now. And that is the least thing you want to be doing at this point, because you're like, well, I'm minus 70%, I'm minus 60%, minus 70%, and you sell at loss. Guess what? Well, it's to your own disadvantage, but to the platform advantage. So all the money you lose goes back to the platform. So it makes the platform to go bigger anyway. They get more money by you selling at loss. So I'm just saying, this game is a waiting game now. We need to wait this thing out. It's bound to happen this year. Anytime Fed raise money, market goes down naturally. It's natural. Market goes down naturally. So I'm not surprised. I'm not worried. I've got minus 80% in my portfolio. Guess what? I sleep normally on my bed. I'm not worried a bit. That's why it's always good to go long in the stock market. If you think, you want to make a quick trade, sometimes you get stuck in that quick trade and you have to wait everything out. If you don't wait it out, you'll be losing more money. And I think another thing we need to be looking at is the Apple and Microsoft. These two companies are trillion-dollar companies. So they will be releasing their earnings next week. If their earnings is as good as Tesla's, right? Well, expect a market rally, at least for a week before Fed's meeting, which is coming on May the 3rd and 4th, right? If this doesn't happen, if their report is as bad, I believe it's not going to be as bad as Netflix, because these are two different companies, right? So Apple makes money through phone, laptop, wristwatch, and so many other things. Microsoft software everything they make. So I'm expecting a big report just like Tesla next week from these companies, and that will give us a bit of relief before we actually have the Fed raising rate by 50 basis points. I believe at this point, and market has probably priced in 50 basis points next Fed's meeting. Guys, I'm just going to advise you today, don't panic, don't make hasty decisions. Just, wait this thing out. And guess what? Market always come back. 2008 depression, market came back. 2020, market came back. And the previous ones like that, market always come back. So if you wait it out, if you can't afford to, see your portfolio going down the drain, just close it and just, go on a holiday or go somewhere, chill out. After maybe 3, 4, 5 months, open it back on. And I believe you're going to be happy that you just stay away, because some people will be like, well, I've invested my savings, I don't have any money in the bank again, this and that. Well, you shouldn't be investing anything you can afford to lose in the first place. So I think it's just a waiting game. If you still have some powder, if you still have some cash aside, it's a good time to buy as well into great company like Apple, Microsoft, Tesla. I'm going to say that again. You don't want to be watching, you don't want to stay aside, looking Tesla going up like that. You want to be piling in that company. So any drawdown a little bit, you need to be dollar cost averaging into this company. You want to be buy good company as well, like Coca-Cola, dividend companies that will pay you, maybe you might even go to some, commodities like, Chevron, some for dividends, some other company like that gives you good dividend. I can't be made. There's loads of them out there. The good company that after all these drawdown, they're gonna be up there flying as well. So I'll be dollar cost averaging, and I'm not worried about what's going on in the market. And I think you shouldn't worry yourself so much. Market is gonna do what market is gonna do. Just fold your hands, buy more, chill out, have a coffee, and guess what? We're all gonna make money at the end of the day. All right, guys, I've come to the end of this today. Please, if you've not subscribed, kindly do. It helps me, helps the channel to grow, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.